Aloha. The children call me Mr. Lee, and I've been teaching art for quite a few years, mostly inspired by my father, who was 33 years a school teacher. And it's a part of my life. It's a part of the process that I, as a creative artist, impressed upon my own being, that it's integral to being an artist. That is, being with the young people, sharing with their vision, their questions, and their desire, their ability to have an open passion. And that is something that's beneficial to me and all, I hope, that teach and work with the young people. Well, Furlough Fridays, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on throughout the United States, and we here in Hawaii have a sensitivity to the arts. But unfortunately, the budget within the state itself, the governor, able to make fiscal ends meet, as they say, had to eliminate a number of Fridays from the school year, and this was a very controversial topic. And so almost immediately, and I would say within a couple of days, the leadership at the East Hawaii Cultural Center realized that this was an opportunity for our artists to work with the children. We've been providing about 7-8 different teachers: ceramics, photography, puppetry, mask making, woodworking, music, drawing. And the kids came to us because of Furlough Friday, so it's an absolute blessing for all of us. One of the first things I do in any class, whether I'm teaching acting or animation or filmmaking, it's about using our hands. When we draw or sketch, we call it pushing the pencil. We just take that pencil and it doesn't matter. We just push it along the paper. As we start to work, we find a shape. Maybe it's a triangle, a rectangle, a circle, a square, and we point that out. And then we try to mimic, repeat it, imitate it. And as you start to do that, you start to see little patterns. And that's the beauty to me, because the patterns lead to a rhythm. And then once you get a rhythm, then it can become a motif, and out of that motif you get a theme and possibly an idea. Speaking about the unfortunate realities of Furlough Fridays, of the amount of time that it's taking away from the kids in their regular schools, is that it has given us, as I mentioned earlier, a kind of a follow-through that you certainly wouldn't find with the absence of arts in the school systems. You're not going to find that, but this has been able to give us a follow-through. On Fridays from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, the children bringing their own lunches would have access to up to 5 to 7 and sometimes 8 different art teachers. Very many of the Furlough Fridays, we've actually had live performers, musicians, acrobats, clowns, and also police, members of the community coming in and speaking to our children. So we're very proud of the way we were able to make something not good into something extremely good. One of the most memorable events of all the Furlough Fridays is a young child coming up to me as he hears during the break all the adults, maybe we should write a letter to Governor Lingle, as we were discussing Furlough Fridays and what it meant. And this little child came up to me after lunch and said, "Mr. Lee, I want to write a letter to the governor, and I want to thank her for letting us have art on Fridays." And that's it. Through the child's eye, that's what has happened. Interesting enough, for Chinese New Year's this year, I was invited to create a dragon dance. very excited about it, and we worked with a small maquette of the dragon that had previously been created by students and myself. It's a papier-mâché head, very large, but in the traditional Chinese sense of a horse's nose and cow's ears and antelope's horns. Well, for the parade itself, many children came along with their parents, and they were able to go inside and become the dragon itself. We went through the streets of Hilo, we danced with the lion dancers, who were very shocked themselves to see the dragon. And I'm not going to say we stole the show or anything, but we had an opportunity to have a number of dragon dance teams, and it was extremely successful for us. And the benefit came the fact that the dragon was alive and there was a crowd there to be able to appreciate it. That is something that came out of Furlough Friday.
Festival with fireworks, so please.
The other thing that's ongoing is our puppetry. We are creating out of recycled boxes. Virtually every student, although some are working in groups of 2 and some in groups of 3, have created a puppet theater, and characters and story and the settings are coming out of this, as I mentioned, working with drawing and the other teachers. We are having this conglomerate of processes that are coming together and starting to see little lights go off. Not that they're going to be artists, not that they're going to be puppeteers, but the fact that this process, again, I mentioned that. Our other teacher working with wood has brought us a phenomenal marionettes made out of ohia. And this is something that is what we're talking about. Not only are ideas going through the children, but the teachers themselves now are sharing and working together. We've been able to teach week after week after week and develop lessons and artistic process that are merging together now, from the ceramics to the music to our puppetry, as we're developing performances and exhibitions. And so that has to be accounted for, and that has to be appreciated. The opportunity to follow through with the creative process of a variety of art forms. The fact that through a process, ideally artistically for us, this process will enable different levels and different structures and different art of music, art of drawing, art of ceramics to come together, and maybe that child could sense a thought